Hey journal freaks, thanks for joining me this morning. We're going to be doing some art. I wanted to talk to you guys about cardstock because when I watch YouTube videos I hear a lot about cardstock, especially from people who want their stuff to look absolutely perfect. They will go and buy cardstock at the store or at Michael's or whatever. And what is cardstock? Cardstock is anything that, you know, basically is like a card. So you can't feel this, but this is more heavy duty than this. So got this one in the mail. This is my old business card. Here is a sort of packing list and details from a professional buddy brush that I bought. Here is a one playing card from a stack of playing cards that George spilled water all over, so Gretchen gave me this. This is an image that I like from a Benjamin and Moore paint brochure, and you can see that it's, you know, pretty heavy-duty cardstock. Here's from last week when we were talking about how I process paper and how paper comes to me for free, you know, toilet paper roll. I recently bought a skirt from Beta brand. I love this brand. I use this brand for most of my shooting clothes, my filming clothes, because they look professional and they bend like yoga clothes, which I need because I'm a video producer and I'm always like bending and, you know, pulling yoga poses, I guess, in the middle of shit. So it's just a card that came with the skirt that I bought. This one is very interesting. I found a massive haul of these at the in my little library. I mean, you can see how many that I have. But anyway, they're kind of gross and wonderful at the same time. I use them as cardstock. I don't use the gross and wonderfulness, but this one is actually better than some of the other ones, which are, you know, show you like kind of the muscle and whatnot, which is whoa. Anyway, so I'm getting a good education in sort of anatomy, I guess, as I sort of go. But I got these for free. That's the point. I found them in the little library. I'm rambling now. Stop me from rambling. And here's a card that I have no idea where this came from. I think I was in some kind of shop, and these were by the cash register. So if you're ever in a shop, there's always like these cards at the cash register, and I feel like, well, I'm sort of giving, you know, these custom aluminum decor chain curtain people a little shout out. It's there. Oh, I know where this came from. Yeah, once again, my interior designer housemate. That's where that came from. So anyway, what do you do with this shit? Well, you can decorate it, and I've kind of gotten started a little bit with these two, which are from, as you can see, the playing cards, and with this one. So I've just put some background on these ones, you know, like that. So that's kind of the first step, and we'll get into that in a second. But how do I use these? Why would I even want to use these? I mean, sometimes when I show my mom my project, she's like, yeah, but why? So if you're a journaler, and if you've gotten into pockets like I recently have, I used to be a straight up, you know, sort of art journaler where I would just do an art journal where you write on the paper or whatever. But then I started to some of these adding like little tucks and pockets. And so I'm just going to show you. So here's one, for example, that I made. It's a little journal card, let's say. Well, actually, it's my 10 favorites. So I think this is the original of the 10 favorites, and I do make photocopies of this. And basically, this one's a funny one because it's my 10 favorites edible flowers. So I have listed out 5 of them because those are the 5 that I have eaten. And then as I eat more, I put them in. So it kind of goes with this whole spread, which is like fall plantings, like what we planted in the fall. And I think this is 2020. This is 2020. So that's one way to use, like, you know, a journal card. You can do a journal card or something like that. And then another, oh, here's another journal card. This is just from an offcut of some watercolor paper that I had, and then this is from like actually I think bubble gum or some kind of gum package, and so are these guys are from some kind of gum package. But you see how you can make a little, we're looking for life's little moments, and then that can be a journal card, although I haven't journaled. There. Oh my dear, you are so loud, this light. I'm really gonna invest in like a better setup here, but this is what I have right now, recording on my iPad with these funky old lights from the 70s. Oh, here, I just wanted to show you, like, oh, here's a pocket, so you can, like, you know, I put these things in this pocket, but, you know, here's a little pocket. You can put that in there, you know, that doesn't fit. These are actually brilliant for these little small pockets. So you can do that. I think this might have been one of these as well. And just basically pasted this paper on the back of this picture and then put washi tape around it. So you can do some kind of cool things, which we are going to do. This is interesting because here it is. Here's be thankful, and for I guess, what are you thankful for? Here's another. I have these cards that are like the thankful cards, so you can like just gratitude cards. I guess you list out all the things. And so anyway, this was actually the top of a tea box. If you look in the background, you can see like this sort of natural setting with the rabbit and the butterflies and the bike and everything. That is from the original tea box, obviously. And then I just added a bunch of little, you know, these things I drew myself, and, you know, washi tape and blah blah, and it becomes a list of things to be thankful for. And this one, these are just really super simple. So here's a tuck. You can't really feel it, that it's hard, but it's hard like this cardstock, right? And I found this image in a magazine. I think it was The Atlantic. It is such a great image. I've blown it up. I've used it several times. I really need to find out who drew this image because I'm using it all the time. Sorry, get in touch with me if you want me to stop using it. But whoever you are, you're brilliant because it's a beautiful image. Yeah. So anyway, this is like a tuck. So I just put this image on the, you can see that it's like part of this, you know, edition. So I put this image on the back of it, but you could cover this up with something and just journal. But I used it as a tuck here for this thing, which is also, welcome to B&H. This piece of cardstock came from B&H. I don't know what they sent me, but then I just turned it around and I put this little quote from Abraham, who is some kind of spiritual advisor that's advising some lady out in Southern California, I think. And you never get it done, and you cannot get it wrong. Life is supposed to be fun. You are creator. You are a focusing mechanism, and you are here in an environment that is very conducive to that. When you get a hold of an idea, play it out for the pleasure of it. If you are doing it for any other reason, then you're not connecting to your source energy. Happiness and success. I think actually this happiness and success was on the back of this B&H thing, and so that's what really drew me to that. And then I just put this Abraham quote on it, and it goes right in here. And when somebody finds this journal later on in life, or one of my family members looks through it, then maybe that'll speak to them at a specific moment. So that's how I use journal cards. I could show you some more here. I guess I had two more that I was going to show you. Oh, here's one that I kind of liked. This one seems to be slightly unfinished, but because I think this is some kind of, I don't even know what this is. It just looks like there's veterans on the back of it, but I just cut it and used it to journal on it. And then this is one of my favorite little images, who Lynn P. made these images. This image, this watercolor image, and I forget where I got it from, but it's Lynn P. that did it. So you can use, you know, the bigger cards to actually write a journal entry on. I write quite small thanks to my first boyfriend, Jerry, who taught me how to write very small and like a typewriter. So I can write in very small, and I can write very big, and I can write very neat, and I can write very messy. So anyway, here's just a straight up piece of, I don't even know what's under this, but I just pasted things onto it. And this isn't a picture from a magazine. The photo is by Michelle Filia Can. Sorry, Michelle, for mispronouncing your name like that. But sometimes I think, because lost whoever drew the girl in this one, the one that I use all the time, and I feel very, very guilty and sorry about that, but I still continue to use her. What I started doing after that is I think I started just like cutting the image out of wherever I cut it out from with the original artist's name on it. And then so that even if I cut this off, I can at least like glue it somewhere else so that we know who did this. Anyway, Danita did this one. Okay, so I did this, and here's a little piece of paper that Maggie gave me. She's given me some fucking brilliant papers. So yeah, so there is, where the fuck was that? Here, okay. So that's how you can use them. Like I said, I never really used journal cards, or when I first started journaling, it was just, I would just make marks on the paper, and that was it. And it didn't do too much 3D stuff. But anyway, let's get on with it. So I might grab some of these to do things with, but let's kind of, I mean, what I can tell you here is I started by laying down a little bit of paint on this, and you can still see, you know, what's going on. The way that I approach these is to sort of inventory what I have, grab the ones that I want, and then start by covering up what I don't want. So that is my first step. And whether I do that with paint or paper, collage or stamps or whatever, I don't really have an order. But I will say that I kind of usually start with paint. So the interesting thing about these materials is that they're glossy, and so same thing for the cards. So sometimes for the glossy material, the paint doesn't stick very well, or you just have to let it dry for a really long time. You can see here that like I've got fingerprints all over this thing because it just wouldn't dry, but I kind of liked that. So as you can see here, I've basically covered up what I don't want, and I've started to build up layers. What I have done here is I've used, so I laid down the color, and then I realized that I was running out of some gesso. You guys probably know what gesso is, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but I've had these gessos for ages, these ones, right? I mean, literally years, since 2013. And they're running out, but what I noticed is that they are still kind of have this, you can kind of make these marks with them, like that. So, I don't know when to stop. Like, I'm making more marks on this one than I made on the other ones, but, you know, whatever. Do you see? So you can, even this is almost finished, I still have a lot left, and I know there's some like here, like I just want to, I'm going to put some gesso on this one, and the reason why is because this is really shiny, and I would either have to sand it or just get the gesso on so the paint will stick better. So I know there's gotta be a tiny little bit left in there, honestly. It's gonna be that, and oh yeah, there's not a tiny little bit left in there. There's a tiny little bit left in this one, which a long time ago was an empty gesso, and then I added a little bit of water, and you can probably not see the difference because of this camera. You can probably not see the difference, but there is a difference. Okay, wow. I sort of want to keep this, the flower. So I'm just gonna cover up this other stuff, which I don't want. So that's layer number one, you guys. So I've covered that up, and now we have to wait for it to dry. And so what you can do is you You can hit it with the blow dryer, but I'm not going to do that. I do it under normal circumstances, but I'm just going to put this aside and let this dry. And then I'm going to go and work on another one. Oops, this one is wet too, so we should probably put this one aside too. So I'm going to put this one aside over here, out of the way. So anyway, like this, the first was to lay down the color, which I did with the purple. The second is I made these marks like this. So I'm like, oh, this is looking kind of good. I definitely do not want the word pelvis. But so then what I did is, one thing, I have these metallics. I'm not a big metallic person, but I did a job for some teens. A friend of mine, Lisa, she asked me to make, or she commissioned me to make 2 books. One for her younger teen-aged niece and one for her older teen-aged niece. And she gave me their colors that they liked and the things that they liked. And interestingly, they both liked metallics, especially like metallic rose or something like that. So I went shopping for, because that's what I do, is if I get a commission, then I will buy the art supplies for the commission, and the commission pays for it, and then I have the art supply forever. Because they seem to fucking last forever, I'm telling you that. Anyway, so Lisa commissioned me to do this. The girls really liked metallics, and so instead of just buying like one metallic, I bought this this one. So one of the girls liked this color, and I can't remember what the other girl liked, gold, I think. And then I just got some metallic Sharpies as well. And it was like something like, I don't know, $15 I was able to find it for, and I made the things, and I actually gave them the Sharpies, I think. I don't think I kept any of the Sharpies, or did I keep the Sharpies? I'm looking up there now. I did keep some of the Sharpies. That's a metallic Sharpie. Anyway, there you go. So these are opaque, which means that when you draw, you can't see through them, which is awesome. So I might think about, you know, I like, the one thing that I don't like is this word pelvis. So what do I color it up with? What's a contrasting color? I used the purple, so maybe I can just use this purple. Alternatively, I can use the white, although this white is never 100%. As you see, it's not really opaque like the metallics. And the thing about the metallics as well is that they will kind of stick onto the gloss card, because having the gloss card, you have using specific pens on the gloss card, you can make better marks. I didn't even make sense there. That didn't make sense. Anyway, so I keep going, like in terms of cover up what you don't want. So now, I still don't like that, but I don't think I've gotten enough on there, or maybe, oh, there we go. So if I just do kind of that, some marks like that. Does that? Oh, it does. Okay. Checking how long we've been doing this. I didn't even start the timer. Oh my God. Okay, so I've covered up most of what I don't want. The 16 we don't want either. How do I choose the pens? I don't know. I just put a bunch in here, and then every once in a while I would put them back in the container that I have, like above, right below the camera actually. And then That's how I choose them. I just grab them out of there. I recently got these massive craft mats that I put on top of the drafting table, because the drafting table isn't mine. It's like it's the house. It's the house's. I just got these 2 craft mats to put on them so I can just like go at it, go to town. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that one. I'm not happy with that. I just don't know. I know what I'm going to do with that. I'm just going to leave that right now. So pretty happy with that. So we're going to set that aside so it can dry. So then I sort of got to that point and like, oh, do I want these guys or not? I mean, that's a good question. And then I kind of decided that I didn't want them. So how I covered them up was I took a Sharpie, a black Sharpie. Where's the black Sharpie again? Here it is. And then I just made like, I just made like a flower out of it. So you can see I've been doing this too much with this Sharpie. Right, so then I just, yeah, let me cover this one. These are gonna be covered, so let's see, let's use it, let's do purple for the petals, because we've already tested it, and it looks pretty good, I think. If you could feel my hand right now, you would feel that it's kind of sliding a little bit along, like the pen is sliding a little bit along the card stock, because some of it is still the gloss, you know. The stuff that has a lot of paint on it, it has more tooth, as they say. It won't slide around as much. Like I'm sliding around here on this, but on this area, it's like 3 layers. Oh no, I'm sliding a bit there too. So now I'm just like, oh, these are cute. Oh. This one, just do them all in purple. Why not? We can. The thing about these metallics is that like, oh, we'll just do them all in purple, and then if I don't want them all in purple, like after they dry, I can put it like the pink one on top of it, and it is still just as opaque. So sometimes, you know, you can layer and you see something, you see through the layer, if that makes sense. And sometimes it's opaque like that. So sometimes you lose what you originally draw, but that's okay. That's okay. That's the purpose of layering. So anyway, I try to work on these at the same time. So here is, I'm getting pretty happy with this one, but what I was doing with this one was I was, again, taking the black Sharpie, and I was like sort of making these pop out by making the background black. So instead of like coloring the petals like I did here, I'm coloring the background. And the petals, I've already used a bit of that around. You can see they're a little bit more wet. Ah, crap. I do that a lot where I'll just like smear shit, and that is so annoying after you've spent a lot of time. This little thing here. I got started late, y'all, so I'm like so hungry right now. I wanted to do more of these, like I wanted to show you guys the rub-ons, but okay, I'll just get to it. So, okay, so I'm gonna carry on like that, and I might, you know, come back in and reinforce the black outlines of the flowers and stuff like that. But then you get to the point where you're finished with that, but you're like, oh, what am I gonna do with it? Is it just like a thing that you stick in there? But then you're like, okay, now you have to address this. I have 2 types of these, okay. I may even keep this side, but this side I'm not gonna this side is going to be a place for somebody to journal. And so what I'm going to want to do is take a little bit of paper. I'm not going to think too much about it. I'm already thinking too much about it. Yep, there we go. All right, so we're going to see how this is going to stick. This is matte gel acrylic medium, so it's like a glue, but it's like, you know, a fancy schmancy glue. And it's like a gel as opposed to like a paste or a fluid. You know, like Elmer's glue is a fluid, and like your paste, well, you remember paste from school. Yeah. So I'm just putting it on the back of this thing, and then I'm going to stick this on top of it, and yep, okay, that might work. Or you know what I love about these? Okay, so, okay. Let's see if these stick. These are Revlon Transfers, and if you're like around my age or older, you may remember these from childhood, these Revlon Transfers. I guess they were, I don't know, before stickers, I'm not really sure, but I just love them so much, and I do not buy stuff like this at Michael's. I go to the dollar store, I know, but I don't do it a lot, but when I go to the dollar store, I buy these Revlon Transfers. Do I want to rub it on here though? What is the one? It's like, oh, that's kind of funny. It's an add to cart kind of day. Has to be a smooth surface. This is our thing. This is almost dry, but it has to be a smooth surface, so I can't put it on there. I don't know. I just, oh. Yeah, that's why I chose this one. Cover up what you don't like. I'm thinking too much about this. That can happen. So if you start to think too much about shit, then you just go back through these again, cycle through these again. So one thing that I could finish off here. Oh, you know what? Let's see how this is going to look, because we've already done the background, but then how does it look if we pop this out? And I feel like I love a good ballpoint pen as well. Like, not like, I don't mean like a good, I mean like this is from the Crown Plaza. I mean a good sturdy biro that you can do stuff like this with, because you can't do this with your, at least I don't do it with like my finer pens like the microns or even I guess the Sharpies I do it with, but there's nothing better than like a cheap biro to do stuff like this with. Okay, kind of closer with this one. Don't want to go, since this is white, all the way white, I wonder if we can just like, oh, I don't even know what's happening there. It's like I was scraping it or something with the, oh, that's what was happening. Okay. I feel like I've overcommitted to the black here, but you know, feelings aren't facts. So, and here's a good thing to know, that like if you're looking at your stuff and you're like, oh my God, that's so crap, either put it aside and then come back to it later, because I promise you when you come back to it later, it is going to be beautiful in your eyes. I know, it's weird. Yeah, so when you come back to it later, it'll be beautiful. And as well, if you don't want to come back to it later, or you can't come back to it later, then the solution is always put a bird on it. No, just kidding. The solution is always just add another layer. Cover up what you're not happy with. That is like, I think, my number one rule. It's like, I don't want the word prostate in this. So I don't want the word the phrase bulb of penis. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the universe has gifted me this massive tranche of cardstock, but it's got like weird, you know, pictures and quite frankly, disturbing images and like nearly incomprehensible words. So, you know, you don't want any, I don't want any of that. So the first thing I'm doing is just covering up what I don't want. So I know I do not want this. So I may end up even covering up these lines, but what I'm trying to discover is something I'm not covering up. So maybe we could do a fashion here, or a boot or something like that, just because I wanna. Just because I wanna. Okay. The thing is I'm just gonna start cutting out pieces and it's actually this thing that I really want to get a hold of. So I have been having like a bit of a neck and shoulder issue, and all of my practitioners have told me to try to bring the shit closer to me. So that's why I'm doing this weird like cutting here. So I'm trying to bring this shit closer to me. But anyway, these, if you remember from back in the day, have to be really careful cutting them out. Make sure you don't. Okay. So you can cut it out like that. Put this away. And then what you do is you have to peel. You have to peel the first, like this, off like that. And you throw that away. And then you place this. I know it seems rather like, you know, a pain in the ass, doesn't it? But it's kind of, I don't know, there's something really cool about these that remind me of childhood that I absolutely love. So you place it on there and then you just rub it with something hard like a quarter. We used to use, you know, whatever, pennies, and just make sure that you rub it. So it's like one of those transfers except easier. Single use, and then you peel this up. Looks like we got the whole thing. Yay! So it's really pretty. I like how it looks. So, you know, starting to build up a layer on this side as well. So, like I said, if you're looking at it and you either, you know, are not sure about it or you don't love it or whatever, just keep working at it. And then if it frustrates you, then just put it away, because you don't need to be frustrated by this. This is supposed to be your time to chill out, to relieve some pressure, some stress. You don't need to put any pressure on yourself. All you are doing is covering up the things that you don't like, and you might put it aside for a minute. And you know what? You might take something that you might cover it up completely. You know, you might completely cover this up and with nothing left from the original, and that's totally fine. So what am I doing here? I just love this. I think it looks like I want it to look like a forest. So I think I need to lay some color down on this. Oh, I know what I'll do. These are like, I'm just gonna do this one more thing and then we're gonna end it, because I swear to God it must be over 20-30 minutes. But these are gelatos. This is another thing that I bought for a job and then ended up using it. So I don't even know what these are or what the difference is between like this and you know, the fuck are those things? Pastels, I just don't know. I think one's oil, one's acrylic, one's pure pigment. I mean, I just don't know those things, because I didn't go to art school. I went to film school, so that's what I know. And this is what I do just as a release. Oh, interesting, you guys, I will say that this reacts differently on the gesso than it does on the actual, it's interesting, on the shiny. So I'm gonna just go ahead and lay some color down on this shiny, because I want to see how it reacts. Well, that's not opaque at all, is it? These are not opaque. Like, I just bought these colors because they were I bought them, to be honest with you, because they were the cheapest gelatos, and I just wanted to see how I would use them. I was sold by like women like doing, oh, look at this, I can do that, and I can do that with gelatos. At the end of the day, you don't need gelatos, you don't need any of this shit. Pen and paper, right? Pen and paper. Okay, well, that's just a little beginning to let's have a little drink of coffee. That was just the beginning of cardstock. So I just wanted to show you guys, you know, like, if you think you have no supplies, if you have no money, you can still make marks on paper. You can still find something that will make the mark, and you can still find paper. So that's where you can begin, and just don't lament, you know, what you don't have, and just kind of look at what you do have, and, you know, look at what you do have and say, okay, what can I make out of what I do have? I could just go on for hours and hours, and if you guys ask me to do another video about cardstock and how all these finished off and whatnot, I will do that. Right now, I'm so slow, so it would just take me forever to just finish this, and I could probably, once I get my equipment set up, this new equipment that I'm ordering soon, it will allow me to do more, like I can double time stuff, and it'll be easier for me to edit and that kind of thing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will create some of these cards yourself. I really hope, yeah, and if you create any, please, you know, post them. I haven't even started with like pasting things on here, on these. Well, I did. I pasted notes, wherever that went. I don't know. So see, there's so many bits of paper around here. It's just, it's really insanity how paper comes to me. So this is just to show you. This is my cardstock box. So I got all of these. Here's some previous times Christmas cards that my friend gave to me from his business that he doesn't have anymore. And here's like some more playing cards. So I have like, in all this, y'all, I have all this cardstock that just comes to me for free. And I also wanted to show you one other, before I stop the video, one other source of cardstock. And that is obviously your birthday cards, your Christmas card. Look how pretty that is, y'all. Look how pretty that is. And then this is from Carmela. Oh, but I can take this off like here, you know, and I can use this. And I still have this note from Carmela that maybe I can fold up like this. And I can, you know, I can sort of collage or whatever on the top of this, and then this can go into my journal when I'm thinking about Carmela, or when it's her birthday or whatever. I can put that there, and then I can also reuse this bit. So it's just a lot of different, you know, cards and stuff that I've collected. This one, these are so rare that I will never use these. The only way I use these is to actually send them out like this. Okay, I might have a watercolor on the back, but that's about it, or a little drawing or something. So you can see how all this stuff just, you know. Anyway, you guys, well, it was really absolutely wonderful spending time with you guys this morning, you ladies, because you're all ladies, or let's just say gender neutral, you friends. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you so much for journaling with me. Thank you so much for supporting me, because you do, by ordering things from me, by commenting, by just telling me to keep going. I really appreciate it. And, you know, hopefully, oh my God, that's my mom. I gotta go. Oh my God, it's my mom. Hey, Mom.